Welcome back to KSL, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the break. I'm Rapid. I'm here with No Regret, and we're back after our first series with our second series.
Yeah,
Surprisingly.
that is how it works. First, then
Rain,
second, then third.
It's Rain versus Best here for our second series of the day. It's a best of 5 between two of the best Protoss players out there, but I think it's safe to say that there's Protoss players and then there's Rain, because he almost transcends the race. He is just so good. How do you beat this guy?
Well, I guess we're going to see how Best thinks he can.
The answer is with a stick. There's just no player who's been able to really stand up to Rain aside from in the round of 4 of last season's ASL. Flash 3-0'd him. And what was so surprising about that series is everybody's so hyped, right? It's Rain versus Flash. What on earth is going to happen? And Flash made it look easy. He looked stressed at 0 points in their series. It was so dominant. It was so good that it almost just didn't seem real. So even though Rain is a million miles above everybody else, Flash is just a million billion more comical numbers above Rain. And so now Flash is not in this tournament. Rain is, and the question everyone's trying to answer is who can stand up to the biggest kid on the playground, and that's Rain. So it's Best's job to try. And while if they were having a Korean modeling contest, Best would just completely destroy Rain. Turns
Would
out,
he though? Rain's pretty handsome.
Dude, have you seen? Okay, Google like Dojaeuk like StarCraft, I don't know, shirtless or something, because he did this modeling set when he in the Ever OSL, which he actually got second place in maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago I think it was. He did this modeling set, and this guy is jacked beyond all belief. There's a thread on Team Liquid called Nada's Body, but there should also be one for Rain for Best's body, because it is great. But it's about how good you look in the game. And for Rain, there's nobody that looks better than this guy. And what's cool about the series coming up is that both of these players actually played in the round of 16 of the last season of ASL. There was this all Protoss group, right? We had Rain, we had Best, we had Snow, and Stork. That's right. Stork did not look super good in that group. Rain killed everybody, and Best cheesed a lot. So even though we talk about Best as like a macro kind of player, he is more than capable of getting down and dirty.
Yeah, I mean that's one hell of a group to get out of your Stork.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would have predicted Rain to actually, or Best to actually do pretty well in that group, but I think Snow was kind of the wild card there. He played a lot of Reaver styles, and you don't really think about Reavers when you think about PvP, because a lot of times the matchup is defined by the gateway openings or the DT tech that some players can get. But when Best played Stork, he DT dropped him, which is very vulnerable in a lot of ways, but if it works, it works. And as soon as the DT got dropped off in Stork's base, he just GG'd it. So Rain can be, Best can be a little bit cheesy at times, and I actually really like that he can mix it up.
Yeah. That's essential in PvP, honestly. If you can't mix it up, I don't know how you live in PvP.
Well, in theory, you can actually mix it up by just doing the same build every game, because
oh yeah, I guess there's the meta of like,
there is a rock, paper, scissors kind of meta. Looks like we're about ready to get into our first game. It is, of course, as always, on In the Way of an Eddie. Okay, it looks like we are not ready to move on there. It is going to be on In the Way of an Eddie. I feel vaguely confident about that.
Yes, it will be on In the Way of an Eddie.
It's the same way we start every series. It is a pretty good map to start out on. I would say if we started out on a map like Blockchain every game, maybe it would not be quite as good.
Well, this is a bit of an interesting map to start on. I wouldn't say it's the most balanced map.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of memes that you can do on it, and especially in a PvP, like first map PvP. I mean, it's kind of weird because it sets the momentum for your series as well.
Well, the thing about Eddie is not only is it 4 players, so you have a chance to hide proxies a bunch of different places. You have a chance to spawn a bunch of different places, do a cheesy build, and hope you don't get scouted first. And then you also have the opportunity to just play a straight-up long macro game. So you can really get basically everything from this map. It doesn't have any central bases, but it does have pathways that you have to travel through in the middle, and that can be actually kind of confusing, especially if you're used to just like moving across the map. Your units are kind of getting segmented, and especially if you control choke points, it's super powerful. So let's get into it. It is finally time to introduce our next couple of players, and we are going to be starting off with this guy, Best. sometimes living up to his name. You can see his pedigree is very, very good. He made it to round of 4 several times in ASL, but recently has been having a little bit of a struggle, and a lot of times that comes down to playing against an incredible player. And in this case, he had to face Best in the last ASL. Didn't go so well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to do well when you're playing against, you know, Rain and all these other players.
Oh, that's true. I also think I said he had to face Best. He had to face Rain.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have to play against... Well, StarCraft is kind of like playing against yourself, isn't it?
So StarCraft Brood War is a 1v3. It's you versus the game, your units, and yourself. So you really are just fighting an uphill battle the whole time. This is Rain. Just assume he always wins everything. You don't need to look at the stats. His versus Protoss is 87%.
Yeah.
And it's not even like there's a small sample size. It's 35-5.
That's pretty impressive.
Offline.
Yeah.
Against monstrous players of Brood War. What?
Yeah, that's a pretty scary record to go
It's
up
almost
against.
like our production team just made up those numbers. But also his other stats are probably are so good. It's just that he is so much better at PvP than he is at any other matchup.
Yeah, I mean, his PvP looks impeccable.
It just
Especially
doesn't make sense.
When you look back at like the series he played in the last season of KSL, like he just looked insane.
Oh yeah,
in a lot of his PvP.
Which is why it was so so crazy to see him enter last season of KSL as the clear favorite, and then always look like he was going to be the clear favorite. This season, it's kind of the same thing. So we'll see if he can repeat his previous performance and become a 2-time KSL champion. Maybe that's asking for a lot, but let's see if he can deliver as he faces off against Best here, a player that absolutely could catch him off guard. He wasn't able to do it last season, but now it's a best of 5. So if he's got anything creative, now's the time.
I'm sure he will. I mean, you need something creative. You don't just go up against Rain and be like, you know what? I'm playing standard. I'm just playing a normal game.
You go in there and you're like, I feel like maybe doing this build. No, you've got this all planned out ahead of time. And it's going to be so exciting. I cannot wait to get into this. Best, I think anything he does, you should just automatically do. Just assume that it's insanely correct no matter what it is.
What? You mean Best?
Rain.
I was going to say
Sorry.
Best is probably the
I'm
one.
going to keep misnaming these guys all day long. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I just think Best is every player. Also, Rain is the best, so I might be saying that a lot, too.
Well, you don't mix Rain up with other players, that's for sure.
Oh, sorry, I thought we got the call. No, you definitely don't mix Rain up with anybody. He is the best. So let's get into game number 1. It is on Eddie. Here we are, our second series of the day, a best of 5 between the blue player in the bottom left-hand corner, which is Rain, and Best in the red in the bottom right.
Yeah, so close positions, down ramps into your main base, always fun. I wish they'd play around with this in StarCraft 2, but it would never work.
Yeah, I mean there are a couple of like cool things that you can do when you play on low ground. One of the dirtiest things you can do is cannon rush your opponent. And if you get a cannon on high ground, like, good luck, buddy. Busting up a ramp with Dragoons, not going to happen if you just build cannons up there. You can try to, like, shuttle your way out of it. It's just bad. But also, that's probably never going to happen in a pro game. So nothing to worry about. Just pay attention to how this game...
It would be sick if Rain just cannon rushes.
That would be insane. That would be all over every forum in the StarCraft world. But we're definitely not going to see that. There is some world in which you maybe like offensive pylon your opponent, try to manner pylon them or do something crazy like that. We probably won't see that here either. I would imagine just a straight up game, but last time they played Best, the first game that Best played against Rain, he proxy 2-gated him in the middle of the map. But at least this time it looks like we're playing more standard.
Yeah, I think the first game usually, especially for Rain, you're going to play as standard as possible, especially if you consider yourself the better player.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason to take extreme risks, and you need to get intel from your opponent. So we're probably going to see quite a standard game. I think it is on Best to actually do something when you're considered the disadvantaged player.
Yeah, I would say that for sure.
It's very rare that you're just like, I'm going to play a normal macro game against one of the best PvPers in the world. Like,
well,
it just doesn't make any sense.
You know, you are correct. back in the day, Best was what we used to call one of the 6 Protoss dragons. There was a period of time for a couple of years during the prime of the previous era of StarCraft 1 where there were 6 Protoss players that dominated everything and everyone. They were so good that nobody else could touch them. And they each had their own special superpowers. And for Best, he was very good at PvP, but he also had incredible gateway macro. This guy builds units like almost nobody else builds units. And then Rain came along. So the best thing about Best isn't the best anymore, which means it's hard to kind of characterize him in this matchup.
Would you consider Best one of the 6 Protoss dragons if there were now?
If you could make like the top 6 Protoss players today, oh, absolutely. Definitely not maybe number 1, maybe not even number 2, but 3 or 4, you absolutely put Best up there. So even though he's one of the best in the world right now, it's gonna take a little bit of special sauce, MJ's secret stuff to pull the wool over Rain's eyes this time.
I remember your memes from yesterday.
That's right. I'm just gonna keep saying
MJ's secret stuff.
I'm just a big fan
Jam,
of those
right?
Looney Tunes, man.
Yep.
But so let's see what the build is going to be as far as openers, because everything looks even until Cybercore, and then the magic happens.
Ooh,
DT tech from Best.
I think this makes a lot of sense again. Like when you're talking about pulling out tricks, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book in PvP. But I would be very surprised if we see an Observer Bane being skipped by Rain. I mean, that's pretty standard.
Exactly. Getting observers is the way to just be safe against everything. The only thing it kind of loses to is 3-gate. If your opponent's like really powering on 3 gates, there is a way you can get 3-gate obs, but then you're still really stretching yourself thin at that point.
Yeah, there's a robotics facility studying. I mean, he's playing a solid game.
For sure.
I would be very surprised if Rain was going to skip that tech, especially without the ability to scout.
Yeah, I think one of the most standard builds you learn as Protoss and Brood War is like 2-gate obs. You can go 1-gate obs if you just want to like get the tech out after the observatory, or you want to go into Reavers really, really quickly. But this time around, let's count the gateways. We're getting second ones on both sides. So this is actually looking fantastic for Rain.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in how Best is going to plan to play this out, because I think if you're Best, you don't think Rain is going to skip Observatory,
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Thing, like, to assume if you're Best.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to catch Rain riding dirty,
Right.
He's always going to have what he needs to have.
Yeah, you're definitely not going this serious thinking like, Rain's just going to skip Observatory and I'm going to get DT all in him and win,
Yeah.
So I'm curious how he does plan to play this out. I'd be very surprised if he just runs his DT in and dies. Like, I'll be like, what? Like, that was your plan?
That would be a little comical. So
Yeah.
one thing that DTs do give you is map control, because you
Yes.
can only have one observer out at a time. The first one goes to your opponent's base that isn't anywhere else, or the first one stays at your base to make sure you don't die to DTs. And then maybe the second one goes to your opponent's base, but at that point you've made 2 observers, and if your opponent's just making gateway units, then you're gonna have a rough time there.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine that Rain is actually gonna transition this into Reavers eventually. You just have to kind of wait and see. Yeah, there's the support bay.
This is still really scary, I think, for Best, because, I mean, Rain feels very confident with Reavers, and you're not going to be able to do much with your Dark Templar, so you're kind of just on the back foot, defensive against Reaver drops, which are just going to pick you apart. So I'm very curious. I think Best has to have some kind of trick up a sleeve or some plan. Maybe it's a run-by. I'm not sure what it is yet.
Like DTs, they're always scary. Nobody thinks DTs are not scary, and a very happy spooky day to everybody out there. DTs definitely help make today a little bit more spooky for all of us, because, especially if he waits for a couple. You can split these, and you know the number of observers your opponent is going to have at any given time, especially if Rain wants to go for or wants to go for Reavers. Ooh.
Oh, they get away. That was really strange, though. This was basically what I was describing originally. Like,
I think you go for 1 DT in the front, pull the army out, and then run the second one around behind it. But even then, maybe Rain just backs up and saves himself.
Rain would not die to just
For sure.
DT. That would be insane.
So once Rain sees that there are DTs out there, he instantly throws down a Nexus because he is super solid against that. And the second part of this strat might be like a shuttle to drop the DTs into the back. That could be something cool. But I don't really know where Rain is going after this, because I would assume just more gateways.
Yeah. I mean, Rain is like the ball is in his court. I mean, he's going to go for the Reaver drop, most likely. I mean, he's just going to make sure he doesn't die anytime soon, and then he's... This is a pretty big push, but I really don't see it breaking him with the Reavers.
Well, he's going to maybe try, but
Oh.
as soon as you see that Reaver there, like, what are you going to do? This is
Yeah.
the most solid defensive position that you can get. Oh, you might have tried to run the DTs by, but the Observer is just there.
It's very funny that the DTs are actually just an attacking unit in this army.
And now with the second Observer out, Rain is just going to see everything. This
Yeah.
is so solid. This actually reminds me a lot of how he played in StarCraft 2. If you
Yeah.
remember, he was just the defensive Protoss.
Yeah, just a solid macro player. Kind of reminded me of Stats.
Yeah, a really good analogy if you guys follow StarCraft 2. For Best, though, he is still trying to get damage done with these DTs. They just haven't done anything. And I really agree with what you said earlier, No Regret, and that is if you go DTs against Rain, what are you expecting?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know what the plan is here. I think as soon as Rain gets any momentum or any time, there's going to be a counter, like a Reaver counter, whether it be a drop or some kind of push. But I think it's going to be really, really hard to defend that. Even doesn't lose his pylon.
Yeah.
What a nice defense.
I mean, technically, the DTs do give you double quotes map control because they're still out there being scary. But as soon as you have an Observer or two with your army, like, good luck, man. They just don't do anything anymore. Cool snipe on the pylon, but yeah, I mean, that's not really going to matter. It does supply block Rain for a second,
There's the
but
shuttle.
already had it on the way. Yep, and with that shuttle coming out, that means it's kind of looking like go time for Rain. He's got 2 Reavers, a shuttle, and a whole bunch of Dragoons, and that is basically everything you need along with that Observer.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a single... Is there even a support bay here?
Oh, you definitely don't want to be losing Dragoons at this point. Every Dragoon's so precious, and especially if Rain is able to push over this high ground, that's where things start to get rough.
Yeah. This is not a good place to fight. I don't think he feels very comfortable in this position. It feels like the guillotine is coming down on him almost.
No, it's for sure. I mean, the clock is ticking. This is like, I don't know. There's just not a lot left
Look at
here.
this surround, though.
He's trying to target down that Reaver in the back.
Look at this surround. This is crazy.
He gets one of the Reavers there, and
Gets both.
The flanking
There's just so many more Dragoons.
are so good from Best. He's concaving it up.
I don't even think Rain was expecting that.
Rain lost his Reavers like for free.
That was very uncharacteristic. Though those Dragoons that was a really sick spread.
You know, not to.
I don't think I've ever seen like Dragoons versus Dragoon Reaver go so one-sidedly.
Oh yeah,
all
no.
things
I mean, the
considered.
Reavers are supposed to just bop them, but when you have that flanking Dragoon force from the back, that actually did so well for Best. I hate to say it caught Rain off guard, and so I don't want to quote the pigeon meme, but like, is this a game? Like, we actually get to play a game between these guys. It's not just Rain, monster Hulk smashing one opponent after another. Best actually pulled out a super sick move there.
Dragoon on a retreat.
And somewhat surprisingly, Rain is still outside his base, now losing another Dragoon for free.
Yeah, I don't know. Rain not winning the first fight. I'm not sure how he's expecting to win the second fight. Feels a little strange, but
Definitely time to put the brakes on things for Rain. He went out there, he had a good spot, and then he lost those 2 Reavers and a shuttle, and he's got to rethink some life on his side of the map.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for round number 2 with another Reaver shuttle.
Well, hey, the good thing for Rain is that with the way that the bases are constructed, the natural expansion for Best is very vulnerable to Reaver drops. So that's exactly what Rain is doing. It's a nice plan, too. Also, it's segmented minerals, so the Reaver Scarab can pass through them when you drop the Reaver behind.
Nice shot.
And he actually is kind of hard to do because if you target a probe that's in front, the Scarab will chase it and dud. So you actually, it's kind of hard to get the Reaver to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice little pick off. I mean, he's heading home. It looks like we're going to probably see a quite standard PvP from this point on, which is quite interesting, all things considered. I think Rain had a huge edge that he kind of lost, so...
Yeah, for sure. This game is super even right now. Both players really respecting each other. You cannot push up that high ground, and honestly, it's maybe even a little greedy of Rain to try to get out there and take that high ground. So he backs up, is going to go up the high ground from the northern side and try to mitigate its effectiveness.
Yeah. Is it greedy if it's Rain?
Yeah, I guess that's right. I mean, in some sense, you can kind of feel entitled as Rain to think that the map is yours, but there are these inexorable forces in PvP, and that is that more beats less.
The only thing here is this is a really heavy Zealot army, and there's Reavers here.
No way he doesn't have an Observer. Okay, so he does have the Observer. That's skill check number 1. Does he have the micro against the Zealots? Yes, he does. And will he lose these 2 Reavers again?
Nice storm.
Oh my god, the Storm's so sick. So he takes it with the Reavers, picks it up with the shuttles, pulls the damaged Reavers back, and look at him go. That's right. Another huge storm on the back, but the Reavers prevail.
Yeah, this is overwhelming. amount of Dragoons. The shuttle gets picked off, so these Dragoons are basically, or the Reaver's not in the fight.
I'm
but
sorry,
yeah, GG.
did I say the game was close at any point? I'm sorry, I meant Rain was still crushing it at all times there. The storms enable, there's a world in which you storm the Reavers in the shuttle and they all die and then you just crush the fight. But the Reavers, like the dude, they just abide back in the back, and that's enough to blow up everything Best had in front of them. That was so sick, but I think in the end we all learned the one lesson we should have known all along.
Rain is best.
Rain is best.
Yeah, that's a very interesting fight. I mean, it seemed like everything was going Best's way. His army composition felt like it wasn't the right comp to deal with what Rain was doing, though.
Well, you know, Storm has counterplay. You can't move out of it. It's not like it just one-shots everything, even though it feels that way. And Rain had that one sick move where he tanked the Storm with the Reavers, didn't let the Storm kill them, picked them up with the shuttle afterwards after dodging the first half of the Storm with the shuttle, was able to save all the important tech in the back that time. Second time's his charm after he lost it in the first fight, which was kind of uncharacteristic.
It does feel like the Storm itself was kind of a misplay, though.
Well, like, you got to make a tech choice, right?
Yeah, I guess.
You already have the Templar archives from going DTs, so you might as well just use the tech you already have to go for the High Templars. And, I mean, those were not bad Storms. He hit the Reavers with the Storm. He hit a big chunk of Dragoons with the Storm. But, hey, once you don't kill those Reavers and they get the job done, then that's kind of all you need.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we got next door for Overwatch, which is Best map pick.
Okay, so Best is counter-picking with Overwatch. It is a two-player map. And look, if history repeats itself...
We're not seeing a proxy gate in the main.
Dude, maybe not in the main, but Best has got some down and dirty builds. He, like I said, the last time that these guys played, he proxy 2-gated him in the middle of a big 4-player map. And the series before that, he DT dropped Stork, which is a super dirty build to do in PvP. So I'm waiting. I'm hopeful. I want to see Best do something wacky now that he's picking a 2-player map like Overwatch. Anything can happen here, but never doubt Rain. All right, here we are. Game number 2 of our best of 5 series. In the upper left-hand corner is Rain. The bottom right is Best. PvP for the ages, but I'm sorry.
Is it a PvP for the ages, or is it going to be a bottoming? That's what we're going to have to see.
Well, that's the truth. I actually, my inner hopefulness is that it is actually a really cool series. However, I would say after that first game, I apologize for ever doubting Rain.
Rain didn't look as dominant as I thought he would, especially considering the DT tech basically did nothing from the beginning. Like, he didn't lose both DTs, I'll give him that, and then he did later. But it just felt like he just fought with Dragoons versus Dragoon Reaver and lost that fight, like, decisively.
Yeah, the control was kind of exceptionally troubled. That's my new word for bad. He lost one of the Reavers almost immediately, and then he lost the second shuttle, or the second Reaver in the shuttle, like right after that, and then he just got flanked and
yeah,
the
concave
was
fully surrounded, so he just couldn't do anything about it.
I mean, when you know Reavers are coming at you, right? The first thing you do is split your Dragoons, and Best did that perfectly. He had this huge concave, so don't count Best out. But I would be skeptical if he's going for DTs for the second time in a row.
That would be a meta play, but at the same time, if it's not expected, it could possibly do something. But there's no way Rain just skips observers. It just doesn't happen.
Oh, I think you can kind of assume that. So if you assume your opponent is going to go 2-gate obs, which is super standard, then one way you can do that, can get away with something, is maybe go for 3-gate if you want to play aggressively, or try to mix in a fancy fast expo. But because you're on a 2-player map, that's a whole lot riskier.
Yeah, this map is a lot better to defend that stuff too. Like when you compare it to last map.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I almost would have liked it, if we were going to do something like that, to do it on last map.
Yeah, I think it would have made a lot more sense to do on a map like maybe Blockchain or something like that, one of these big 4-player maps, but certainly not here on Overwatch.
So we're going to have to see what tech choices are made, but there's really not much to talk about right now. It's a very standard game. No one's built a forge, so that's cool.
Yeah, the only thing that happens early is if you go 2-gate or if you proxy in the middle of the map. And neither player is going to do that. They're just going to do 1-gate cyber core, and then we get a chance to find out what the play is. For Rain, I would be very surprised if he ever deviates from this opener because he is just so solid. So, but you know, every once in a while, you know, if you're too good, you get a little antsy. And you're
so
like,
they're both getting range. Something to note?
Well, I mean, it's standard. It's also like boring. I wanted to see something really creepy, really crazy, really like I don't know, like DT drop would have been like the build. If Best wanted to, like you said, metagame him, you go for DTs again, but this time you drop them past the observer, and then the observer just moves. And
wow,
you got
look at Rain's probe. Look at that sneaky probe.
He's waiting. I really like this because it's not just the upfront in your face, I've got a probe in your base. He's hiding it, and then he's going to get this late scout.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That is a very cool spot to put it.
If he builds a pylon with that later on.
And then he warps in a couple seconds.
Nice. Nice meme. No.
Nice.
But it is going to get a late scout, and especially if Best were going for DT tech again, this is a super ultra hard counter to that.
Scout. Where did this probe come from?
Yeah, but both players are now just going to do the same build. So this is where we get a chance to see straight up, can Best go toe-to-toe with Rain?
Here's the thing, though. Best doesn't exactly know what Rain is doing, and Rain knows exactly what Best is doing. So Rain has to be feeling like $1 million right now.
That is actually super important. Also, the Nexus timing is going to be very important, too, because when you know your opponent has exactly the same things that you have, in theory, if he gets his first... Wow, the first...
You thought there was going to be a shot on Rain's Dragoon? Come on, Rapid. Do I need to call Blizzard on you?
Okay, all I'm trying to say is if you get that first shot off, then you just can't fight anymore. It's so crazy because your control has to be perfect. It's really volatile, but the Dragoon mismatch isn't going to happen. Never mind. I thought it was going to be exciting. It's not exciting.
It's okay, Rapid.
The game goes on.
Both players going observatory.
Aha! And I think this is a decision by Best to say, well, I'm not going to get anything cheesy or aggressive done early on. Just play standardly, and I think he has the right to be confident that, in a sense, he can go toe-to-toe with Rain. But like the idea that you would win from that position is very questionable because this is almost an exact rematch of their map on Neo Sylphid that they played in ASL last season, where Rain just won a straight-up game. So, time to see if history repeats itself.
Yeah, though unlikely, I think.
Yes, I would also agree that that is unlikely.
So, Restore Port Bay on the way, very standard. I mean, they're both... the only thing is there is a quicker natural for Best.
That is a big deal because, I mean, Reavers are not cheap, and especially if you're pumping those continuously, the second base economy obviously helps out quite a bit. Nexi are very scary.
Much faster, too.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to have to see if the shuttle Reaver stuff can do anything. Because that's the only real advantage Rain has besides being Rain himself. Which is an advantage that is quantifiable.
No, this is a big deal, and I'm glad you're pointing that out because Nexi are scary, like I said. It just means you have so much less stuff, and in a game that is balanced on a knife's edge, more so than a lot of other matchups, it is maximum defense time here for Best.
Yeah. Observer coming in and seeing a huge eco lead from Best.
Yeah.
Already has a Reaver, though, so that's quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, you go Reaver first. Reavers with shuttles are infinitely better than Reavers without shuttles.
Yeah, but
and
defensively, though.
Yeah,
this
sure.
will keep him from dying. I mean, you'd be very surprised if we see a dive and the Reaver just not win the fight.
That window there that Best just hit by getting the base up, running, and having a Reaver to defend it is a very scary time. But he did it. So for all intents and purposes, he's actually in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah. I would say that he's in a commanding position right now. I mean, this base has been mining for so long. And like we said, he's not going to die anytime soon. There's still no natural from Rain, which makes me think that there's going to be something coming on.
Yeah, what is the plan here? I think Rain is going to try to Reaver drop him.
Looks like he wants to go for some kind of surround where Best is like kind of defending the bridge, and then he gets surrounded. That's what it looks like.
Oh, but look at Best.
Oh, yeah, there's a nice pylon here.
He really has thought of everything. So the third bases are really open, and that means that it's easier for your opponent to walk into them than it is for you to walk into them. And Best just thought of everything. Put the pylon there, what a god.
That almost triggered Rain to just go, or Best to go across like the bridge, because he knew there wasn't that many units on the other side.
Well, he was going to try to trap those units that were trying to kill the pylon. They actually don't wind up killing the pylon because Best was fronting on them. So really good movement here by Best, not just turtling and staying back.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been very scary, especially first round. Though I still feel like Rain is a bit on the back foot. Oh! Okay, that would have been huge.
Yeah, I mean, already losing the shields on that shuttle makes it a lot more vulnerable. So, gonna have to pull that back. Not time to move out yet. Wait, did he snipe an observer there? I thought I saw a little explosion on my screen, but maybe I missed all that. Either way,
I don't think he did.
The shuttle is out. It's gonna, whoa, okay, you gotta pick that up and pick it up. There we go.
Nice.
So we got shuttles, we got reavers, we got dragoons. Oh my. That is going to be kind of the recipe for success for both players. I think Best is going to have obviously the better economy, and so if that leads to a dragoon advantage, he's going to come out on top in these
still
fights.
A little scary. He's still getting this weird flank. I mean, you can see him setting it up. Okay, here it comes.
Yeah, here we go. We got a shuttle reavers for Best in a better spot. How good are the Scarab shots going to be? Oh, doubles on the back, some big explosions. Best dropping bombs on Rain's forces. It honestly looks like with the Dragoon flank, Rain might be able to turn the tides here. Yeah, running Best over. And now he's going to pull back.
I mean, this is still a lot of Dragoons. I actually think this is a fight the Best is going to win.
I mean, the Reaver is still huge, and Rain rather, is still rallying Dragoons across the map. Can Best hold on here? The Reaver is key, and it doesn't look like Best is going to be able to take it out. He's going to try to take it out.
Reaver has so much HP.
But it's full health and shields, yeah. And oh my.
Never lucky.
Didn't deal damage, but it is still a very strong position here for Best to be in. He's got to pull the probes. He's got to hide them. If any of these Scarabs hit the probes. Wait, what? Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Woo, it's a spooky KSL. It's pretty spooky here for Best. If he can't take this Reaver out, he's done so. But he gets it. And now all he has to do is try to stable on. But it's more versus less Dragoons, and this is such a punishing advantage for Rain.
Yeah, we can't see the economy really on the other side, but this is a pretty bad spot to be in if you're Best.
Yeah, I mean, eventually Defender's advantage, maybe that kicks in, but it's still just an extremely rough spot to be in. Yeah, look at him using that high ground.
Yeah, he does still have a shuttle. I mean, the game isn't over. Only because of such a huge economy lead from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, at best it's even.
Oh, that's a lot of probes.
I mean, and look, Best did have the faster expansion, so even though he lost a couple of probes, I mean, it's okay.
Look at the supplies, it's still an advantage. I think he still has a slight economy lead and defending, so.
Yeah, that's still
that could have
the scariest.
Just ended the game though. Too.
Also, the screen turning off there for a second. It's like it doesn't get scarier than that. It's scary when you put your Nexus down. It's scary when you defend against Reavers and against their Dragoon advantage, and when the screen turns off. Like, this is the Halloween episode of KSL.
You think Best's screen turned off too? That would have been like the most tilting thing ever.
Oh well, then you PP instantly because you can't miss micro for 1 second during that engagement.
Yeah. Look at this counterattack. This is really surprising to me.
I was for sure that Best was going to be petrified in his base. But instead, he's just going for it. All right, the moment of truth. Here we go. Whoa, oh my god. That's, it's 4 probes. We're looking for 4 more.
Oh, he gets around.
Yeah, he gets 7.
Is he going to get the shuttle?
Oh my god, if he snipes the shuttle here, that's huge. He catches the shuttle, takes it out. The Reaver's taking damage in the middle of the map. It's stranded, and Rain is forced to push across.
How many Reavers are here for defense? This is the big thing.
None, it looks like.
I think there has to be at least 1 on the way.
Yeah, but even if it is, it's going to be slowly crawling down the ramp.
There it is. The shuttle's coming back.
All right, here we go. If this Reaver gets a big Scarab off, that's so huge.
Oh, I think he's going to defend this.
It only hits 1, and now, oh no, the Reaver's too far forward. He's going to try to snipe the Reaver. He gets the Reaver before it gets a Scarab shot off, and Rain has a Reaver of his own.
The shuttle's coming in, though. The shuttle should be able to defend this.
But is it going to be a time? It's taking so long. I
think he's got it, right?
I mean, Reaver's glitching in the mineral line there.
Oh, he gets it.
And that's it. GG. Damn. Rain taps out. And Best brings it back to 1-1.
That was a sick defense from Best.
Damn. I am so hyped for this. He played a straight-up game with the same units that Rain had and beat him. What a god. I love this already.
Yeah, that was a great hold. I mean, that was so close. It was so close to going so badly.
Dude,
if even a couple more Dragoons survive in that fight, and it's like not 4, it's like 6, it can spiral out of control.
Yeah, but as is, even 4 versus 1 or 4 versus none, that is so scary. Every other player in the world loses that. I'm being a little bit facetious, but not much.
Yeah, there's very few players that actually beat that. Honestly, the defense came from the ramp.
Yeah, the ramp, the high ground really helped out. Best perfect control, and the counterattack, so gutsy. Got a few probe kills and was able to bring the shuttle back in time. Oh my God.
What a series. Well, we have a series on our hands. I honestly think he played really well in the first game too.
I mean, yeah, but he started off with a DT tech that he kind of set himself behind a little bit.
Started off from a disadvantage and kind of evened it up.
That is actually a really good point. But that means we're heading out to a quick commercial break while we appreciate all this greatness. Don't go anywhere. We've got Rain versus Best Game 3 coming up next. Those yellow Protoss jerseys actually look pretty good.
All their jerseys look really good. I think we should enforce a dress code on the pro gamers.
Why, were they have to wear their yellow jerseys?
Yeah.
We actually did that last year. We had different colored jerseys for each one of the players. Now they just get these sick track jacket looking things.
Yeah.
But Best is all business in his polo shirt. These are the pro gamer uniforms of the modern era. But there is Rain. He is wearing his track jacket.
It's actually kind of interesting that they have these uniforms because a lot of pro gamers have teams, right, with sponsors.
I would say for StarCraft 2, yes. StarCraft 1, there aren't really pro teams. There's like clans that people join. Like you might notice that Best is KLGST, which is one of the more popular clans. Rain is rocking his Saren tag. A lot of good players.
Is that a sponsor?
No, it's just a clan.
Just a clan?
Yeah, Saren clan had a bunch of badass players back in the day, but Rain is, of course, one of the apex of them. Our third map is Neo Sylphid. So we're going 3 players, which can make for some shenanigans. You can definitely hide some gates on this map. So
it's Rain's pick, though.
It is Rain's pick, and like you said earlier, Rain probably hasn't picked a map in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Rain. Rain is like, what? I have to pick a map.
Yeah. All right, well, this is going to do it. Game 3 between Best and Rain coming up. All right, here we are in the 12 o'clock location in the blue is our Protoss player Rain, and his opponent in the bottom right is Best in the red.
It does appear we are on the front page of Twitch, Rapid.
Well, a big welcome
to all the new viewers.
That's right. If you're wondering if this is just StarCraft 2 with worse graphics, no. It's StarCraft 1 with incredible graphics. So thanks for tuning in. This can be a little bit daunting if you're either used to watching StarCraft 2 or if you are not used to watching RTS games. But don't worry, stuff's going to kill other stuff and it's going to look badass. So just hold on to your seats because this actually is going to be a really sick matchup. It's 1-1, so already we've proven that gods can bleed. Rain, one of the most legendary players in the current era of StarCraft Brood War, is killing it. But I mean, so is Best, able to take one game back.
Yeah, if you do know StarCraft 2, you should know Rain. If you're an old school fan of the game.
I mean, he was like 2012, 2013. He was really good. Yeah, for sure.
Arguably the best player.
And actually, if you are a fan of the previous era of StarCraft Brood War, between like 2007, 8, 9, that kind of era, actually right after that era, Best was one of the best players. And he was on SK Telecom with Rain. Rain was known as By Sun back then. He was like an up-and-coming player, but Best was by far the master, and Rain was the apprentice. Now, the shoe's kind of on the other foot as the teammates battle off against each other again. Rain is now clearly the favorite player.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting dynamic because you've known each other for so long.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since Rain has done it all. This guy's a jack of all trades. StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, commentating, and now he's back to dominate again. And he's one of the only dual champions we have, a KSL and ASL. Killing it right now.
Yeah. So, game so far has been pretty standard.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we're talking about other things, is because the early game for PvP, for the most part, always looks extremely standard unless there's like a proxy gate or something crazy like that.
Yeah. So another thing, you guys can watch the global finals, I believe, in like 10 hours as well for StarCraft 2.
That's true. Yeah, it's a one-day event for StarCraft 2. So if you came to StarCraft's channel and you're expecting StarCraft 2, don't worry. We've got the global finals, biggest tournament of the year, happening in just a few hours after KSL.
Yeah. Should be quite interesting.
So you can just spend your entire day watching StarCraft.
You could actually spend your entire day on this Twitch channel.
That's like 24 hours of StarCraft programming.
Like when we're done, there's going to be like a couple hours probably.
Yeah.
And then the next thing's going to start up.
What a time to be alive. It's a good one.
Yeah.
So finally, we should actually see some different things start to happen here as our players start their cybernetics cores. The Zealot is kind of interesting because a lot of times, the Manor Pylon coming through. I love it. This is actually really cool. Rain starting to maybe go for some style points, getting that Manor Pylon down. It did delay his cybernetics core a little bit, but I mean, look, he's pumping Zealots, which is actually really cool because it puts a lot of pressure on a Best early on.
Ooh, nice cancel. Saves the resources. Is this Zealot seen? Okay, now it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that was impressive.
It's trying to go back into that probe line, and I think it is actually going to maybe even get a kill here. Starting gas drones, which is maybe not the best decision, but
oh, nice.
Damn.
Gets one. But, I mean, the Zealot gets cleaned up, and minimal damage, honestly, to the eco.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I think that was pretty good by Best, honestly.
Yeah, Best did actually handle that pretty well. If you try to get greedy and skip your Zealot, it becomes very difficult to kill Manor Pylons, but he didn't. Both players playing very well early on. Although I am glad that Rain's starting to get out there and try to get these style points.
Yeah, I think Rain was playing a little passive. I mean, the first game he should have played passive. He played like a really solid reactive game.
It is.
And then the second game, he was kind of shoehorned into something aggressive because of such a fast nexus from Best.
I mean, I really like that. Best saying, look, you have to play this game on my terms. But that takes a lot of confidence, maybe a little bit of clenching while you hold on to that natural expansion. And I want to see if Best is able to do that again here. Even though it is a slightly different map, 3 players, not 2, but you can actually still do the same thing. Is that 3 gateways?
That is.
Oh my.
So, and this is a Nexus too.
Ooh.
In theory, this should be like Rain, almost a build order win.
Oh, for sure. This is a huge build order win for Rain.
Is that a 4th gateway? Or is it a... Okay,
no,
it's
he
actually 4 gates.
He's 4-gating him. Okay, so I say 3-gate because that's like, you know, kind of the middle of the road. I can support this and get an economy. 4-gate is going for it.
Right, this is actually a build order win.
For sure. This is one of the harder build order wins that you can get in PvP. And a lot of...
no. If he even loses one Dragoon here, this is really
so bad. Because he can't afford to stutter step and fire back. He just has to run. Now he thinks he has like the advantage, but he already took some damage.
Oh, and it's just a 3-gate. I mean, like this is going to be really, really scary.
Oh, super scary. If Best can hold on here, he is legit a god, and we have a super cool series on our hands.
We have a new Best Protoss. If Best wins, this is the most incredible win I've ever seen. I haven't even seen it yet, and it would have to be the most incredible win.
A lot can happen in between seasons, and even though Rain did very well in the previous season of ASL, won the season of KSL before that, it's not enough to say that he is not still the best player currently, but times can change, and on the day, Best might just have an edge here. Now, I'm getting way ahead of myself because the rule number 1 is never doubt Rain. So let's see if he can...
I mean, there's no doubting Rain. Rain is in a huge advantage. Here comes the fight.
Yeah, and he already took some shield damage. I guess the shields are mostly regen by now, but...
I mean, there's just going to be incredible numbers once all these Dragoons catch up. There's 4 Dragoons rallying across the map right now.
Okay, so he's got unit parity right now, but wait until round 2 comes. That's when things start to really heat up.
Yeah, Probe's going to have to be a big play here.
Better target firing by Best off the first couple of volleys. That is actually so good.
He's actually attacking before his other Dragoons.
Yeah, he's ignoring the Zealot in the back, which is a risky play because that Zealot deals a bunch of damage. He's trying to out-micro it, but look at the control by Rain. He saves one of the Dragoons with just a single sliver of HP. It does go down, but he's getting dividends off of that Zealot from behind. He comes out with a 3-to-1 Dragoon advantage and is able to take out Best Zealot.
Yeah, I think this should have been a even more like large advantage here, but honestly, this is pretty scary still. 4 Dragoons here in the natural expansion.
I mean, Best hung on from this possession in the previous game, but he doesn't have high ground to defend from anymore. This is a straight up more versus less, and I think Rain has just got this in the bag.
It makes a lot of sense why Rain picked this map, right? doing this strategy makes a ton of sense.
For sure, especially if you're able to scout your opponent, then you know that no matter what, your rush distance is closer than on a 4-player map.
And
this
there's
is
no ramp for the defense.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge one. GG, Best taps out. A straight-up build order victory. Best fires back. How dare you take a game off of me?
Yeah, I mean, Best kind of just played into Rain there. I mean, he went the pretty quick expansion again and just got bopped.
Yeah?
It almost mounted some defense, but I think he really needed some probes to defend that.
Oh, he would have had to have the best micro we have ever seen out of a Protoss player to hold on from that. That is about the hardest build order counter you can ever get. And that's why building a Nexus is so scary in PvP. You can just die.
Right. Well, we did just see him die, which was kind of expected.
And I mean, maybe him taking a game wasn't necessarily expected. I'm really happy he could do it, but taking it to a game 5 would be the apex of surprise for me. I guess beating Rain would be that, but it's still going to be a super uphill battle as we get into our next game. Looks like it will be on Circuit Breakers, so I'm spoiling it a little bit there for you guys. But
spoiler alert.
It is going to be a gigantic standard map, and I can almost promise you we're going to the center for some gateways. It's going to be really exciting to see what kind of build Best wants to pull out here, because I guess he tried DTs in game 1 and it didn't work out. Maybe you pull out the cheese, but you're on match points. So if you lose here, you're going to the loser's match.
Yep. I mean, you don't want to be going to a loser's match against Rain. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. It's hard to say, but either way, this is still a super uphill battle for Best. He did pick this map, so let's see if he has something special planned. For Rain, I think we can probably just expect more standard play, but for sure he is not going to let Best dictate the pace of the game like he did in game 2.
Someone said Dark Archon should be in StarCraft 2. No, no, it shouldn't. Okay.
They're cool, but I mean, we put the spells elsewhere. Anyway, let's get into it. All right, here we are. On the map, Circuit Breakers. In the bottom right-hand corner is Rain, and in the upper left is Best.
I just broke the caster fourth wall. They're all like, whoa, this is live?
Surprise.
Indeed it is, guys.
That's
live.
right.
We are live from South Korea right now. You can actually come here and see us.
That's right.
Now.
We are in the Nexon Arena. You can Google it. It shows up on Google Maps or Naver Maps or whatever you want to use out there. Get yourself down here if you can. And actually, one of the cool things about KSL this season is that it's actually, as audience is concerned, almost all foreigners. So non-Koreans coming from around the world.
Yep.
To watch some sick-ass StarCraft. So big thanks to everybody for tuning in online. It's a brand new season of KSL. We've got new players, new maps, and it's all looking to be pretty incredible. And we already have a pretty incredible series here shaping up. I love watching Rain be dominant, though. I'm not going to lie, got a little bit wiggly watching that last game. So exciting to watch Rain say, look, you're going to try to build a Nexus against me? No. Not allowed.
I still think Best is really dominant performance so far. Like, yeah, he did just lose that last game, but it was a build order loss.
Yeah, you kind of have to take those.
Before that, he played a dominant defense, like a really insane defense.
Yeah, you could see when Best goes for when Rain goes for an attack, it's because he thinks he can win. And if he doesn't, somebody messed up. And usually it's not Rain making a mistake, it's his opponent just playing out of their mind. So let's keep an eye on this. Best picking this map means that maybe he's got something in mind. Although his gateway is built in the main, so nothing super crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to probably be into a pretty standard opener at least. We won't be able to tell much until the tech choices are made. So, yeah, there's not too much to talk about right now.
Yeah, honestly, if you don't go for like a proxy gate, the early game for PvP is pretty figured out. The other thing you can talk about is like scouting and worker timings, because that can lead to some pretty dastardly mana pylons.
Yeah.
We saw Rain do one in the last game. I wouldn't say that is, incredibly damaging, especially if you get a Zealot out. I mean, you can clear that pretty quickly.
Well, they're both miss-scouting, as we'll call it. It is cross positions, so that might come into play, especially if we see a quick Nexus from Best again. Does come into play a bit more when you're on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see if it plays into this game.
Yeah, longer rush distance can actually make a big difference. The only problem is that, you know, if you're close, you kind of know the direction the shuttle's coming from. But if you're cross positions, it can come from either side, so you do have to be super vigilant.
Right.
If the games get into like Reaver Tech or, God forbid, DTs, it is still an option. And now that the cyber cores are done for both players, let's see if we can have some of that sneaky tech. Oh my God!
Nice.
Best. Ugh.
Best coming in and seeing everything.
Looking good there with the probe juke, pulling the Zealot out, going around the outside. Nice, gets in for the scout. I mean, same thing for Rain, so both players are going to know what's up.
Yeah, this was quite interesting. I thought that was a really late Dragoon range. It's possible he wanted to do something else, but then when the scout got in, he couldn't really change it up.
Yeah, and it is actually Dragoon range. If you want to fake an upgrade to trick your opponent, then you build the air weapons, because it's obviously not quite as expensive. But the idea is that both players are playing pretty standardly up until now. And I think you can kind of default back to Rain playing the observatory style, so just going to take it safe for now.
Yeah, though it is possible that he gets kind of pressured based off the fact that he's playing so safe. Like, I think there's two ways to really deal with that. There's the really offensive stuff, like the 4 gates, but you never do that cross. And then there's also just taking a Nexus and getting an eco advantage.
No way you fool me
Nice
once.
try, yeah.
Shame on me. Not happening a second time there. Best. Nice try.
Yeah, Best's still playing it safe, though. He's going to be okay.
And is that a third gateway? Sorry, I didn't see what the other...
Just a second.
Probably. So, is Brain going to take a Nexus? Yes!
Yeah, we probably will see a Best take a Nexus as well, but it's going to be later. Just because he's playing safe.
I would say that's for sure the reactionary play. Rain felt confident enough to go 4-gate and all in Best after he put down his natural, and I think that was absolutely the right call. It can be scary to do that, A, if you don't know there's a Nexus, and B, if you haven't scouted the presence or the lack of DT tech.
It's kind of like a reverse of, what is game number 2?
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Where there's a really quick Nexus from Rain, and a much later Nexus from Best, because Best can't confirm 100% what's going on yet.
If I were really making up some storylines, I would say that Rain wants to get revenge on Best by beating him the same way that Best
he beat Rain?
Yeah, beat Rain that game too. Probably not what's happening, but I like that Rain is choosing to dictate the pace of this game, because it doesn't matter who's doing it, putting down a Nexus is still very scary.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to see if Best can kind of negate that advantage with either shuttle drops or some kind of attack.
Well, that's the thing, is like it's very hard to punish 2-gate obs and cross spawns, but it's also very hard to punish your opponent if you go for that build. So he's going to transition into Reavers, which I think is the logical tech from that position, but it's not going to hit before the base kicks in for Rain. So let's see if Best can really get anything done here. He's going to build a base behind this, so he's at least on economic parity.
Well, he's at a pretty big economic disadvantage for now. But yeah, he won't just be dead.
Yeah.
Just a 1 base all in, I guess, if you don't take a Nexus.
Yeah, Rain does have a slight advantage because his base did come up a lot faster. But he also has the tech Best has the tech advantage with these Reavers coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, some of that tech advantage is kind of wasted to being safe against DTs, though.
Yeah. Oh, also cross spawns. It's just going to take a long time for anything to get over there.
Yeah. So I would say Rain has a decent advantage right now.
Yeah, I think you would expect that, not only just because he has the name Rain, but also, oh my God, no way!
Where's the Observer?
So Rain should be artificially pulling his Observer back. Because you want to pull the Observer back, wait until you see the shimmer, run your Observer in, and then snipe it.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to snipe it, but doesn't get to, unfortunately.
Yeah, Rain dictating the pace of the game. He's got a better economy, and oh man, that Nexus is still not done. It always surprises me how long those take to build. And for Best, or for Rain rather, let's see what he wants to do. I would imagine just similar Reaver tech, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rain is on the defense right now. I mean, he doesn't need to do anything. He's got a better economy. It's mostly on reaction to what Best is going to do. Although Best's economy is not terrible, it's starting to catch up. He hasn't really been able to utilize his faster robo.
I mean, one thing you can do, at least in this position, is maybe throw down a 3rd base. At that point, you're starting to get into Crazy Town, but at this point, both players really have everything the other one has, with maybe the moderate exception of a little bit more Minerals Mind.
Yeah. We'll have to see if Best is able to utilize this. This is quite important, I think. If if a Reaver shot comes in and kills a bunch of stuff, like that's just insane.
Right, but you're putting your faith
RNG basket
in the hands of the RNG from the Reaver Scarab. Now, there's a lot that you can do skill-wise to make sure that your Reaver has the best opportunity to fire a Scarab that does crazy damage, but it's all up to Best. How good is his control? Can he get in and actually deal damage with that Reaver shuttle?
Yeah, it looks like he wants to go for a big push in the front with the Reavers, yeah.
So Reaver shuttle is better than Reaver with no shuttle, but both players have exactly the same thing. So I don't know how Best expects to accomplish something. He does have more Dragoons, but you can't really push into a well-defended Reaver natural.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to force it. I think he's just kind of posturing. I mean, actually, he might go for it. It's hard to say right now.
So if you use your shuttle to pick up the Dragoon that is being fired on by the Scarab, sometimes it actually can bug things out a lot. So it's important to use the shuttle very vigilantly to bug these Scarabs or save units, especially that Reaver.
Yeah, they're both playing a bit with fire right now.
It's such a volatile position to be in. And you can see Best is trying to get in everywhere. But look at Rain, he's just airtight.
Yeah, Rain's starting that forward, just going to get +1. I mean, Rain is playing the macro game. I'm pretty sure he's not dying anytime soon.
I mean, look, if there's one thing Rain can do better than just about everyone, it's play the macro game. And look at all these gateways he's getting up.
Yeah, definitely going for the macro game with +1 on the way and a bunch of infrastructure. Looks like they're both actually going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to react at this point, otherwise you just lose. The other option from Best could have been, like I said, to throw down a third base, but at that point you're opening yourself up to some to getting Reaver dropped once you both have a bunch of shuttles and Reavers running around.
Yeah, he also opens him up to be possibly counterattacked. Ooh, nice pickup.
So that's a net win there for Best. He's picking off Dragoons. I like it. But let's see. Oh, he actually does tank a Reaver shot. That's not great.
Yeah, he has to be so careful, too, because if this shuttle dies, these Reavers are basically sacrificed.
Wow, if he had targeted the Reaver, he might have actually gotten the Scarab to go
down
there.
Here comes.
Oh. Couple shots. Man, this is balanced on such a knife's edge. I love it. The entirety of this game is watching a Reaver hit a pylon. That's how close it is.
Ah, look at that. Wasted minerals.
It's so good. He will actually get the pylon. That's going to trigger Rain to maybe bust out a little bit. Trying to dive on the Reaver in the back. He gets the shuttle. That means these Reavers are very vulnerable. One of them is going to go down. The second Reaver being target fired takes a Scarab. Will he get another shot off? He does get another one
Reaver survived. Okay, that
Both Reavers go down. It's Goon versus Goon. Best has a lot, but Rain has more.
That was a very interesting fight. Remarkably even. Oh, he's coming across the ramp.
Bridges are rough. It's so hard to fight across bridges, but Zealots afford you the ability to bulldoze your way through like a battering ram, and Rain will hold on for now behind this. What's the follow-up for Best?
Looks like it's Storm. They're both getting it, actually. I think we might get into just like a normal game off the back of this.
How dare you? A normal game?
A normal game.
Crazy.
Crazy. I'm actually surprised they both went for it. It felt like at some point they were just both going to back up and have like a game.
Yeah.
At some point they just both went for it.
Well, look, if throwing down one Nexus is scary, the second Nexus can be a lot harder because now the army sizes are gigantic. 100 supply apiece for both of our players. Slight lead for Rain. You might expect that because of the early eco advantage, but our players are either thinking about A, I push my opponent and try to get a win, or B, I expand.
I love mid-game DTs. They're so strong. Though they're both ready. They're so good.
Yeah, Rain, he was slipping a little bit on his macro, and then he threw down like 3 gateways, and Best actually did the same thing. So Rain should expo behind this, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I mean, they both should take their thirds.
Yeah, well, obviously, faster third here from Rain as he throws that one down at the mineral only. Or actually, no, it's not. Never mind.
But still, third base is, you know, going to be thrown down eventually here from Best.
Yes.
Like he's on the defensive here. There's no other real play here besides taking the third base.
Next engagement is going to look very, very crucial. Reavers, Archons, lots of Zealots to tank the Reaver shots.
Yeah. Not quite having Storm yet, I guess.
So let's see. I love the scouting Zealot.
Still think Rain is just winning this game, you know? Like all of his plays are just slowly getting him that edge. Like huge edge, rather. Yeah. Like this Nexus is considerably faster, and he's on the map, so he's full map control. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a mineral-only base that Rain is taking, so he's sacrificing the gas for a better position. And you can actually funnel that into a bunch of Zealots, which are still pretty crucial. Love the cannon, but it doesn't guard the entirety of the
I'm pretty
ramp.
sure there's no cannon in the main.
Oh, it does scout the DT, and immediately Best pulls everything back. Does he have a cannon? No, cannon in the main!
Yeah, he's playing a little bit greedy with that.
Oh, and it's not a tight wall with the pylons either. So, you know, eventually this will get cleaned up.
Yeah, losing a couple probes, but there's also a little bit of, like, APM used there, which is not really used anywhere else.
APM, attention, pulling some of your units back. Either way, I don't think it'll matter a whole lot in the long run, but every little bit counts.
Yeah. It's like Best might be coming for some kind of like 2-base timing, considering there's no 3rd base.
This is actually a really big deal because each Nexus you throw down is just a lot. Both players have a lot of Zealots. I would say the Archons are a nice...
Oh, what a place to fight. This is going to be a really weird fight. Storms go down on a lot of Zealots here.
Yeah, the Storms from Rain have to be good because after the High Templar Storm, they don't do anything. The Archon's already here.
Oh, that's a huge storm too.
Yeah, massive Storms from Rain. Let's see how good the Reavers are. Storm on the Reavers. They're going to try to move out of it. It does complete, so both of those Reavers very low health. They have to be pulled back to the high ground.
Storms,
oh, look at the mischance, though, on the Dragoons. He takes out the shuttle, but the Reavers abide. They're back in the back, blowing up everything.
Yeah.
Best with a crazy good push here. Now, the Zealots, they are very scary, and they're going to take out one of the Reavers. Can the other one survive? It does, but it's still 2-on-1 for Reavers. The Dragoon count's starting to wane, and now this means Rain is taking the fight, defending the 3rd base, and Best so far behind.
Yeah, Best no longer, I mean, he's going to GG, I think. There's no 3rd base. It might go for one more big push, but there's no economy here behind this push.
Yeah, I mean, Rain has almost 1,000 minerals. He's banking like a monster behind that. Best taps out, GG. Rain. Losing one game, but coming out 3-1. I think a very exciting series, really did deliver, but in the end, Rain, clearly the superior player.
Clearly the bigger brain, I think.
For sure.
Bigger brain for Rain.
Yeah. The Rain brain.
Rain brain, yeah. I mean, he played that series, like, strategically and impressively. Like, he basically won a strategy every game.
And it's not like Best really did anything that was really ill-advised. Going for the DT tech in game 1, sometimes you just win that way. But I think overall, Rain is going to play the style that might not win him the one game, but it wins him the best of 5.
Yeah, I think Best kind of played into Rain on Sylphid.
Yeah, actually, I guess you're right.
Which was kind of a mistake, because I think that was almost to be expected with that map pick. No ramps and a 4-gate. I mean, obviously no scouting the 4-gate, but what are you going to be doing on that map? At
this point, you're starting to really realize the meta that this series is taking on, and Rain dominated. And that means that we are going to head off to another extended break after all of this. We're going to get Rain on stage for an interview, and that means that we have time to talk about what's coming up next.
What is coming up next, Rapid?
So yesterday they surprised me. Usually we do the winners match after the first 2 matches conclude, but we actually had the losers match first yesterday. So we will find out which player is eliminated from Group B of the KSL coming up next, and that's going to be, I would say, guaranteed to be sad.
Because it's always sad when you're eliminating a player.
Well, also, what's so polarizing about this group, besides it being the de facto group of death, is that even though Rain is maybe the clear favorite to get out, all 3 of the second place players can absolutely beat each other.
Yeah, they're all extremely strong.
Yeah, Saxery and Rush played a super close series. Saxery is pulling out some big brain plays and going for some really weird strats we don't see, like Hydra busting a Goliath player, like, whoa.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's going to take this second match, because I think Saxery versus Rain, he's really going to have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I mean, anybody going up against Rain, we've repeated this 100 times, is going to have his work cut out for him, but we'll have to see. I mean, if anybody can take it out, it will be a Zerg player, not a Protoss. It seems like his PvP is kind of locked down.
Well, that's true. And coming up next, we have the losers match, keep in mind. So that's going to be Rush versus Best, I believe. I'm just assuming things work exactly the same as yesterday. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So Rush, once again, a very aggressive player, but TVP looks way different than TVZ, as we got a chance to see yesterday. And I don't know if Rush is willing to play the turtley style that mine was, where you just macro, get up your upgrades, and run across the map and kill the guy. So yeah, I'm expecting some action-packed games. I would say that Best is maybe still the favorite, but he's really got to switch it up, because Best has to prepare for all 3 matchups.
Yeah, I would say Saxery's probably putting all of his eggs in the Protoss basket. Too.
Probably true.
We'll have to see how that goes in our next match.
Yeah, ZVP in our winners match, which will be coming up a little bit later on.
That's also going to be great.
Super exciting. So really, every series in this group is really deliver. There's lots going on. We've got some exciting builds coming up. The players are really delivering. They're playing exciting, aggressive styles. I don't know, KSL, it's so good this season. To soapbox for a minute, I've heard a lot of people saying that, well, because we don't have all of the only big name players that the bandwagon fans like to watch, maybe they're not in KSL, but you know who are here? New players, good players, the best current players playing, guys like Rain. And in fact, out of the top 15 players for the sponsored matches that happen between the streamers when they stream, we actually have, I think, 10 out of the 15 players in KSL. So we have actually just monstrous numbers of amazing players here this season, and we're getting the groups done incredibly quickly. Each day we have 4 best-of-5s, and then we have like a deciders match for right after the groups conclude, and then we're already into 2 days, which conclude the round of 8, and then we just have finals after that, and it's like, wow, that's the season. It's like 9 episodes, I think.
9 episodes of Rapid and No Regret.
I wish, man. That's the dream. But it's going to be exciting nonetheless. And I think that each group brings a little bit of something different. We've got new players you guys have never seen or heard of before coming up later. It's going to be really exciting. This whole season, I have no idea what to expect because we also have best of 7s in the semifinals and finals later on. Like, good luck predicting what's going to happen there.
Yeah, best of 7 is extremely hard to predict. So many maps, so many strategies.
Yeah. What is the thing that you're looking forward to the most coming up next? No regret.
Coming up next, like next?
Next today.
I think I'm looking forward to the PvZ the most.
Okay.
I mean, it is our winner's match. Should be the highest skill. I'm just interested to see if Saxtry has something planned for Rain or what's going to happen.
There are a lot of cool things to talk about, but we're going to have to talk about that then. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more KSL.